Let's see what this talking about, chat.
and Wilson are both charged with possession with intent to deliver both.
The scene to 12 News Toya, Washington, as people
like
started running from the camp.
It's amazing, one left and I'm the only one remaining.
Welcome back to another episode of True Street TV, where we cover everything street related. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell, and let's get right into it.
This ain't no good.
Today's story brings us back to Milwaukee,
like
Wisconsin, the city of
It's like a
hustlers
story,
and money getters. As we spoke about before, Milwaukee street culture runs very deep, especially when it comes to selling drugs. Wisconsin is majority white, leaving dealers with less competition and more drug users. This is why Milwaukee hustlers are able to run up a lot of money. On top of the drug units constantly locking dealers up, there's always a spot open to jump in the game in the mill. In turn, it's not a huge deal
Chat,
to
y'all
see
trying
a
to
young
jump in the
kid
game,
selling
chat?
drugs in Milwaukee as young as 10 years old.
Y'all trying to
Boys
jump
are
in the
taught
game, and that brings
chat?
it
To the man we're here to talk about today. 18-year-old Lil Trav, real name Travis Giles. Trav is off the east side of Milwaukee and runs with a group called YPC, short for Young Paper Chasers, along with other known members like Eno and the late Big Juan, who tragically passed away in 2021. Trav is one of the youngest from this camp, being only 18 years old today,
Shit got
and
thrown
only
and
about 14 years
every
old
day.
when he appeared in his first song. Group first gained recognition in the city in November of
Oh, you was turning up
2019
for your
when Big
21.
Juan released his first
Why you
music
ain't go to the
video to
casino?
YouTube called Fast Lane Lifestyle.
Big one, bitches line slam like a drop that bag and watch how I fumble.
This song was huge in the city and has over 800,000 views today. And Trav can be seen in this video showing money as he just turned 13 a few months prior to this video being released. The name of their clique, Young Paper Chasers, is very accurate as this group is very young. And DJ Jury would point this out in their interview, and Big Juan would also mention the youngest YPC member, Weezy, getting into all the clubs with them, although he was only 13 at the time.
History right now, you the youngest nigga I ever had on the show.
G, youngest nigga to ever do it.
On the real.
G.
You just turned 18 a couple days ago, right?
On the 24th. My little bro and them 13 on the G, they can't get in, it's over.
Damn, wow, that you talking about Weezy, yo.
G, yeah.
That he 13, dog, that shit crazy, dog.
Shout out little bro, what did you?
And as we spoke about in the Big Juan video, which is the second video I ever produced, Big Juan came up under his godfather who dated his mother, Wonder Bread Ree. Ree is a highly respected hustler and rapper from Milwaukee and is one of the main faces of Wonder Bread, an older clique of hustlers who are some of the pioneers in the Milwaukee rap sound. So as we know, Juan was deep in the streets and his connections could be attributed to his close relationship with Ree, although he would point out in a few songs how he doesn't want his street accomplishments to be diminished, because although Ree likely connected Juan, he got outside and grinded everything on his own.
P ain't nobody teach me shit like my nigga E. I'm tired of niggas saying Ree. I got love for folks, and that's all the shit he did for me.
It up and beach, the same way I bust down the break, get that shit through the mail, bust it, leave a strong street. One straight boy, back the girl, it was a hard shit. The quarter has a hose, I ain't gonna lie, I had my pockets full. Ain't nothing really changed, still do my thing with the game, make that shit disappear, just call me David Brain. I don't pay attention to these niggas cause they all lame. Watch for the crab in the bucket, kill for Teddy Jane. Nigga tell the truth, you don't like me cause I fucked your name. Late nights, early mornings, hard working, dedication. Stack the even spin the eye, put the blues to the side. Put a tag on your head, guarantee they bust it over. You don't wanna use your...
And his little guys would follow suit, the main one being Lil Trav. Trav would kick off his own rap career on May 2nd, 2020 at only 13 years old. He would feature on Big Juan's song 8 Blocks.
Some extra foil on the dog just to get it black. I'm ballin' on you niggas. Me and Weezy teach you how to stack.
And although Big Juan was lit at the time, majority of the reason this song racked up over 500,000 views, Trav did hold his own weight on this track, and he would rap in depth about stretching drugs. Many Milwaukee rappers do this to prove they're not just rapping, but actually hustling in the streets.
Hammer buzz down the boulder and watch how I crash. Magician with this bag, got it gone quicker than you snap.
And many comments would point out how Trav was talking crazy, and he would plan on continuing his rap career alongside Big Juan. The two would go on to release another song together 2 months later on July 19th, releasing Kill. This song has around 150,000 views today.
You gon' need a hammers like the Man of Steel. Pass the dog to one, can't use a hammer. You gon' need a drill.
And it was released just 7 days after Trav's 14th birthday. And Big Juan was fighting a federal case as he had just been wrapped up in a drug indictment, being only 18 at the time, as the other men indicted were all in their 30s.
FBI operation that targeted multiple Milwaukee homes yesterday morning led to the arrest of 17 people involved in what law enforcement is calling a violent drug trafficking ring.
A few months after Juan and Trav released Kill, the group will get into a very serious altercation. It was November 19, 2020. Some YPC members, including Lil Trav, Eno, and Eno's female cousin named Kimberly, along with another guy I wasn't able to get the name of, they all went to Mayfair Mall, located in Wauwatosa, a suburb of Milwaukee, which is located about 15 minutes from downtown Milwaukee. It's also one of the largest malls in Wisconsin and draws a large crowd of Milwaukee residents. And shortly before 3 p.m., the group of young men would go down the escalator in front of the Macy's entrance, and they would be approached by two Hispanic teenagers, one of them named Eric Garcia and the other one 15-year-old Xavier Sevilla. Eric would approach Eno and they would go back and forth briefly before Eric would punch Eno in the face. Xavier would then up and shoot 18-year-old Eno, real name George Torres, in his arm, where the bullet went right through his right elbow and in his right thigh. Xavier had a 9mm Glock which held 17 shots. He would empty his gun at the group, shooting out all 17 shots, also striking Trav in his right hand and Eno's cousin named Kimberly as well. He also shot 4 bystanders who had nothing to do with this, including a man working at a nearby store named Enzo, whose name was Rashad. He was hit in the leg. He would also hit a mother and her daughter who were Christmas shopping. 55-year-old mother was hit in the ankle, and her 37-year-old daughter was shot in her thigh, which the bullet was very close to her femoral artery, which could have been very deadly, as if shot here you could bleed out in just a few minutes. And a 65-year-old man at the mall just walking around was also shot in the thigh. Xavier must have been shooting with his eyes closed, because he hit 4 bystanders and shot his own man's Eric Garcia, who was hit in the hand.
What the fuck?
The second floor next to Macy's. People got reports of shots fired.
The November 2020 Mayfair Mall shooting in Wauwatosa sent 8 people, all of which survived, to the hospital that day.
8 people got shot?
What I did was unnecessary.
Lock his ass up.
Made plans to fly him out of the state, but was caught the next day after being pulled over on his way to Illinois. Surprisingly, when arrested, Xavier had the same gun on him that he used in the mall shooting. He would later be convicted and sentenced to 15 years in prison, and has been in Green Bay Correctional Institution since July 5th, 2023, which is known to be one of the most dangerous prisons in Wisconsin.
The moment that sent Mayfair Mall shoppers running for their lives has reached its final chapter. A judge sentenced the shooter to 15 years in prison.
And he low-key did catch a break, because he could have caught a lot of more time. He was facing over 100 years for shooting all these people. Trav will go on to rap about the situation, as him and Big Juan released a tape at the end of the year called Cold Days in Hell. And on the song November 20th, Trav raps about the shooting.
Hey bro, I think I'm shot. Mama got the news track, got shot on her hard drive. Thank God it wasn't worse. Disappointed watching this on Fox.
I heard this one before.
Surprisingly, according to police, Eno will cooperate with them, telling them what had happened in the mall. Comment below your thoughts on this situation.
Punches Mr. George Torres in the face. Mr. Torres is 20 years old at the time. He describes coming down that elevator, getting punched in the face. Mr. Sevilla then takes out his firearm. No one else, there's nothing to suggest anyone else had a firearm.
Following this situation, Trav would stay quiet, running his money up. He might have caught a case, as he was low for the whole 2021 until November, when him and Big Juan released Designer Drugs, which is a big song with over 300,000 views.
Designer thug, me and his dog going toe to toe. Switch my feelings up, cause everybody feeling next to blow.
But sadly, Trav would have this song released the same day Big Juan was tragically killed after his house was shot up, and he was fatally struck at only 19 years old. It shocked the city, as he was well loved, and especially Trav and the YPC camp. This was a tough loss. They could be seen at the funeral in Babe hoodies. And Trav would shoot the video to Letter to Big Juan, which he released about 2 months later. The song has over 100,000 views and was a good tribute song for his mans. Trav will go on to start off 2022 pushing his solo career, as he released 2 of his best songs in my opinion, Right or Wrong and No Explaining, which he went crazy on both of these tracks.
Believe one gone, you gon' hear him in every song. If you keep holding back this dog, they can charge me for restraining. It's amazing, one left and I'm the only one remaining.
And then he would follow up with a huge song alongside Real Stature 50K and Baby D, as they released Through the Day in July. This song has well over 400,000 views and is easily one of Lil Trav's best songs. Would also find himself in trouble in July after going on a high speed and being caught with cocaine. He would surprisingly receive a signature bond for this and be right back out. He would then be caught with a large amount of cocaine just 3 months later in October, and Eno would quickly post his $20,000 bond and be out of jail once again. Trav would release a few more songs towards the end of 2022, linking up with Super Throat Dave as he was locked in with the Super Throat camp, even appearing in the Red Tape music videos in 2023. He also got locked in with the Bloodhounds from this relationship and is close with Q50. And Trav would also get a feature from Detroit rappers Bino and Drago as they released the song Bad Gone. But shortly after this, Trav would make a huge mistake in July of 2023 as he was riding in the car with another teenager named Tyrone Wilson, and the police would notice the car didn't have a front license plate and attempt to pull them over. Trav would quickly take Milwaukee police on a high-speed chase and eventually crash the car. Trav and Tyrone would attempt to get out and run, and they would be chased and tackled by police and taken to jail.
Facing multiple drug and gun charges after a police chase last week, 17-year-old Travis Giles and 18-year-old Tyrone Wilson are both charged with possession with intent to deliver both cocaine and heroin, as well as possession of a firearm. Prosecutors say police attempted to stop a car that had no front license plate and illegally tinted windows.
This also happened just 10 days after Trav's 17th birthday, and he would make his first adult case a very serious one as police found heroin and cocaine in the car. And he was held on a $15,000 bond, which he posted a few weeks later. But Trav wouldn't comply with Justice Point's conditions and would be held in jail, where he would later plead guilty to multiple felonies. And he would surprisingly be sentenced to 6.5 years in prison for this incident at only 18 years old. He has a release date set in 2030. And 2024 would be a bad year for the group, as in February, Eno caught another case and will be held on a $50,000 bond, plus a $40,000 bond for his other case. Eno is now fighting some serious time. I hope the young men change their lives and use their talents to do something positive once released. If you enjoy this kind of content, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
That shit crazy. I like these. We should do more of these type of videos.